friendly office culture, and other similar amenities. The conference had the following results. It creates a destination for patients. Patients come just to spend time with friends they've made throughout the trial, and spend time in the comfortable couches and food, and just to spend time with us. Essentially, our goal was to make our sites more comfortable than the patient's own home. And ethically, this is the least we can do to express our appreciation for a patient's participation in a study. And this is especially true in Hungary, where you cannot compensate patients for their participation. Another major advantage of the international site network, and another way it's been a benefit within Eastern Europe, is that it has provided a direct correspondence between US sponsors and our European site operations managers. This has the benefit of having contracts being negotiated directly, and this has the obvious benefit of saving both time and money for the sponsor and the study site. Finally, there's a certain level of quality assurance that comes from having an international training program and inter-site support system. Sponsors know that we are on foundations of many years of experience, and they understand that the reputations of our American sites can very easily be superimposed onto our European ones. The purpose of the Clinical Research Magnifier Conference is for a growing international clinical research community to share our experiences and best practices. As Steve Jobs explained, creativity is just connecting things. Imagine a network of clinical research sites in Shenzhen, Zhuhai, Herman, and Dunshui, China, establishing high standards of excellence through ideas and best practices. Imagine such a network in Thailand, in Singapore, Korea, or Taiwan. It is through our shared efforts that clinical research moves forward effectively and ethically to bring the next generation of medicines to millions of struggling patients. Our industry is much more effective when we connect people, resources, and our experiences within our own private practices and as a global research community. Thank you very much. I'd like to give a special thanks for Dr. Karlberg for inviting us today. This has been an incredibly rewarding conference, and I've learned very much, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Professor. So now it's open for questions.
Thank you. Thanks for the presentation. It's an example of what is going on, isn't it? That we have dedicated research. I mean, it's like becoming a type of CRO type of activity. I mean, it's a business concept what we see here. I have to tell you one thing, that in Taiwan, you actually have had this for 10 years. So you have a company set up with Ray Wang, is it? Who is previously had a CRO, which was taken over by Quintanzi. So he has a site management organization with his own nurses. He goes to the hospitals, to the outpatient clinics, do all the work. And is it correct not to have it here in this hospital? So he's working here actually. And he's, what I understand, very well, he's a preferred provider of study sites here. I'm looking at Catherine, but I think it's correct, isn't it, to using it for a flight. So actually the concept is here in Taiwan, but it's now merged into EPS, which is the biggest CRO, Asian CRO, if I understand it, from Japan is represented. So it's already, it's moving on here. The need for it is obviously because, I guess you decided to use, because of the reason you said, you are too busy in the clinic and we need to have professional people doing the work. So maybe I give it back to you because you're using the product already.
Thank you, Dr. Karlberg. Actually, Taipei Medical University as well as other several hospitals in Taiwan use the SMO model to operate a clinical trial in a hospital, and I personally feel very comfortable using this system. Although there is some link between the SMO with the hospital operation system, we need to have time to cooperate together. Actually, I am the coordinator between the SMO and the hospital too. So we must have someone as a coordinator between the SMO coordinator and the hospital to working together. Then this system will function very well and create a big volume of the trial. Yeah, we have a question.
Is it okay if I comment just before you ask your question? And I think the fact that it's worked within Taiwan is a testament to the power of a site network and people working together. And this isn't a brand new concept. This is very much something that exists amongst many other industries, and I think is rapidly growing within this one. But there's a certain advantage to having a network that goes beyond that of a single country and transcends country boundaries. There's many different ideas within the United States, within Europe, of how to do clinical research effectively. And to have a truly international site network, one that connects European sites in Eastern Europe, developing or emerging regions within Asia, I think there's something to be said for that.
Earlier you mentioned that, for a physician there's a medical school to get training. But in the US, there's actually some degree programs to become a clinical research associates or clinical research professionals. For example, Eastern Michigan University in Ypsilanti, Michigan has a degree program, Bachelor of Science degree program. And also, I believe Drexel University in Philadelphia has a correspondence degree program. So, even the academic world is recognizing the need for highly trained clinical research professionals through this type of degree programs.
So, when I started with the company, I started in the mailroom. They threw me right in the deep end, and I was coordinating trials. One thing I learned through that experience is the only way to truly become effective as a researcher is by doing. That is not something that's something very difficult to receive through the programs that very much exist, but I don't think they're developed to the degree in which they should be.
Well, these programs typically have an internship program, so they actually have an opportunity to go into the clinic and as part of the training program.
Can I have a comment? Not intentionally discourage you, but then to just give some of the facts. Most of the SMOs, probably they started and they probably find CRO business is much more lucrative. Then starting from SMO, they migrated to the CRO business. Same is the case with the profession of CRC. People join CRC easily and quickly they want the other side of the CRA profession looking more greener, so they want to quickly jump to the CRA. So is it transition? And if you look at strategically or globally, the SMO business has not grown that significantly that CRO has grown. I know it is all you have mentioned is absolutely important, especially in the emerging region, to support to the investigators to provide a good quality research. But somehow there is some loopholes we need to be looked at and really strengthen the SMO business.
All I'm trying to suggest with this presentation is that sites working together, even domestically, are effective. And evidence of that is the SMO in Taiwan. And if you take that to the next level, having an international network of sites, you actually close a lot of loopholes. You take out a middleman. You don't need a CRO to be the gateway. And it's kind of a hybrid. It's an undefined kind of beast that's growing. And I just wanted to give you, this audience, a taste of this type of plan.
Just to respond, it's an interesting because it's a new animal, on the block, this type of thing. But there are two, I mentioned this in my opening talk, there are two European companies who have their own physicians, not just nurses. Okay. They've got 17 sites each, I think they are 500 employed. They have the same revenue per employee as CRO. Yeah, and that's in UK, but is a Danish one also? There are two of them. They moving from Europe to US. It's the other way around. So they're moving into US right now. And I know because one of them came to me and asked for a meeting. I said, we got conflict of interest. I'm sorry, I don't need to. That's one point. The other thing, the Taiwanese is merged with EPS, Japanese. They're moving for the region now. Okay. I like to make